Welcome in, everybody, to the First of Football podcast. Today is Sunday, November 19th, 2023. Hope everybody's having a wonderful football Sunday and a great opening weekend to deer camp here in Wisconsin. I am your host, Justin Sutton, in Green Bay, with our other host, Mike Rosenthal, down in Milwaukee.
What up? Yeah, deer hunting was great. We got 5 deer in one day. It was a good weekend, memorable one at that. A lot of work this morning, butchering up 5 deer before coming down and watching I got back pretty much at like the second half of the first slate of games. Listening to the other stuff on the radio on my way down. Not a good Sunday for football for me. I guess we'll just dive right into the Steelers-Browns game, which was the first on our list. Cleveland -1.5. We didn't take that because both of us thought the Steelers would win.
Yeah, I don't even understand how the Steelers can look so good. I mean, given granted, it is the Packers defense, but that offense looked like it finally started to hit a stride. And I mean, to just look completely discombobulated like that against Cleveland, I was a little like, wow, okay, well, fooled me. So yeah, Pittsburgh just straight up stunk it up. I mean,
Yeah,
Kenny Clutch was nowhere near Kenny Clutch. I mean, the only thing he was clutching was a cane because he looked like a handicap man out there. It was bad.
Kenny Pickett is not that guy. I'm sick of it, man. Granted, we're not going to get rid of him, so we're stuck where we're stuck. The funny fact about this game, which I was telling you before this, the Browns only had 10 more yards than the Steelers this game. They almost outgained the Browns and lost the game. Jalen Warren, stud running back. Love the guy. Kenny Pickett, he's not, like I was just
Hold
saying.
on, just to back you up, that would totally fit the Steelers' MO this year. Get outgained, win the game. Outgain your opponent, lose the game. That would be total Steelers fucking MO. Oh my goodness.
And one thing that I hated, there's a press conference obviously after the game, and Mike Tomlin was saying, yeah, he didn't dog the offense at all. He said, oh yeah, the Browns defense is really tough to play against, this and that. Not dogging the fact that the offense needs to be better, which is complete bullshit. And Matt Canada has to go because Kenny Pickett's not going anywhere. He was a first-round pick. Sorry, he's not going anywhere. As much as some people want to make change happen, Kenny Pickett is stuck where he is. They're going to ride him out the rest of this year, probably the rest of next year. They need to can Matt Canada this year, this week, and make some changes. They cannot continue with this shit. Kenny Pickett had 106 yards, 28 passing attempts, 15 for 28. He had some crappy throws. He didn't look great. And I think it's something to do with them scheming up just terrible plays, because everybody knows Matt Canada schemes up terrible plays. So many passes to the flats, so many dumb, obvious plays. It's unbelievable. They're playing the Browns, who have a rookie quarterback. They let him throw the ball 43 times. Let Kenny Pickett sling it. Figure out what this offense is. This is annoying as fuck to watch. Excuse my language. I'm just fed up with it. We're not going to win the Super Bowl. Who cares if we make the playoffs? Figure out what this dude is. I don't care. Who cares about Mike Tomlin's 500 record? Figure out what this guy is. If he's not it, get rid of him or figure out a game plan. I'm done with it. It's annoying.
Man, I'm just going to echo the same sentiments you said there. And I mean, I think one other person who would also echo the same thing is George Pickens, because Deontay Johnson, yeah, he's pretty good, but George Pickens, dude, you guys got the next perennial great there for your team, and do not waste it. Don't waste it with subpar quarterback play. I'm sorry. I don't care. I mean, hot take, go get Kirk Cousins this offseason. Do what you got to do. That team would be lethal with Kirk Cousins.
Did you see Dobbs just huck that ball up? Sorry,
no, I did not. But just for everybody's information, we are coming to you at approximately 8 p.m. Central Time, where the Sunday night football game of Minnesota and the Broncos has already kicked off.
Yeah, what time are you at in that game?
I do not have that game on currently. Shame on me. I should.
You're good. So back to the Steelers thing, man. Myles Garrett is a dog. He was very influential in that game. The offensive line could not. Dan Moore looked completely lost out there. He literally let Myles Garrett run up without even touching him pretty much.
Yeah.
Like this team, my biggest sentiment and the last thing I'm going to say about this team, they should have beat the Browns, hands down. They had enough opportunities to do so. They have way more experience. They need to have an offensive coordinator change because that's the only change that could actually happen this year. They're not getting a new quarterback. They're not getting new linemen. They're not getting new receivers. The only change that could happen theoretically is a new offensive coordinator and play caller.
Yeah.
Who cares about your BS record being they're just as fake as the Seahawks record, which I've said before. They need to have a change. Something needs to be switched up, but I don't think it's going to happen, man. Mike Tomlin's okay with being 500.
Yeah.
It keeps him a job, and he sits there with his little record. I'm over it. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's wasting TJ Watt. If they got a Kirk Cousins coming in, maybe it would make something of this team. But we're wasting a really good defense by having them be on the field the whole freaking game.
Yeah, I am currently at a commercial break right now, so I can't see the game clock, but it's 10-3 right now. Minnesota's up, so
all right.
That's all I got.
Yeah, you're ahead of me, but yeah. All right. If you don't have anything else about this game, we can move on to Packers Chargers.
Yeah, Packers Chargers. That was actually a pleasant surprise that we won the game this week. I thought we had the ability to. It's just going to come down to a matter of execution. And honestly, I didn't think we were going to be able to execute. I thought the Chargers defense would actually kind of show up, against a bad offense like they usually do. And they did. I don't know if they were sleeping on Green Bay or what, or if they really thought that 50 degrees was that cold, because the Chargers look cold and it kind of showed, man. One note from that game too, just absolutely gut wrenching to watch Joey Bosa suffer yet another injury, and it looks to be pretty severe. He was, you could, if you watch the game on Red Zone, I don't know if they showed it on the regular broadcast, but they, showed the scene of him sobbing, getting taken away on the card. Like that's just tough, man. As a player who's battled through a lot of injuries, I personally am not a fan of the Bosa brothers. His brother Nick has ruined a lot of dreams of mine as a Packer fan. So, the Bosas can kind of whatever in terms of football wins and losses, but nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. That was tough to see, but Packers pulled it out, man. I thought we were going to get spanked, and that was not the case. It was a tight knit game all the way to the end, and we were able to pull it off. So shout out to Jaden Reed. He looks like he's probably the best wide receiver that we have.
That's what I said.
He looks more developed already as a rookie and more polished than Christian Watson does. And it seems to me that both the organization and Jordan Love seem to trust him more than Christian Watson already.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the injuries real quick. Aaron Jones, man, you didn't mention that guy's name. That's even bigger. That's way bigger for a team, a player missing from a team, man.
That's rough, man, because
is that his career?
I think the unfortunate truth to that is, that's probably the last time we'll ever see Aaron Jones in a Packers uniform, and that's the last image we see. It's like another guy sobbing as he's being taken away on the cart. Like, dude, I took one look at that replay, and all I could think to myself was, yep, that looks like a season ending, at the minimum. So,
I mean, this guy's going to be probably he never really got a chance to be a fully established
guy this year because of injuries.
Even his career, just consistent, relying on this guy being there. It's it feels like it's always injury with this dude.
That's why we always had to keep a committee back with him.
Now he's going to be probably second in somebody else's committee when we get rid of him after this year.
Yep. Agreed.
Love looked good. You got to give Love his props.
I do. You don't like Love. Good. I don't like Love, but he actually showed up against a bad defense. So,
hey man, I'd take Love over what I got working with me at Kenny Pickett, dude.
I'd say it's about a push, honestly.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell. Obviously, the offensive line for the Steelers this week did not help him, but yeah, it's probably a push.
I think either way, neither of those guys are the guy.
They're not franchise guys.
Yeah. Dude, hot take, man. I would rather take Baker Mayfield because, dude, was fighting. Did you see that game against the San Francisco 49ers?
It's all today, right here. That dude has heart. He does
so much heart, dude.
Yeah.
So much. He was out there dogging for his dudes. He was dropping dimes in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was crazy. I'm like, man, what I would do to see, someone with that kind of heart playing for the
Even
Packers
dude,
again, like a Brett Favre type.
Speaking of heart, bro, one thing that got me fired up for this Packers game, did you see that false start on the no, it was delay of game on the Chargers center, and Herbert, he just spiked the ball on the ground, pissed off, and started cussing out his center.
No,
right in the camera, and I was fired up. I'm like, I want that person as my quarterback. Somebody that's gonna like, dude, it was awesome. You have to look that up, man.
I
It
think a
got
lot
me
of people
fired
would
up.
like Justin Herbert as the quarterback, myself
Oh,
included,
yeah.
man. Oh shit, that would be
But
wicked.
dude, that dude's a competitor, man. I can't believe the Packers pulled that one off. But
Yeah.
also the Chargers shoot themselves in the foot, and that's what they do, man.
Chargers gonna Charger, man.
Chargers
They
gonna
found a
Charger,
way to
dude.
lose the game when they should have had it 10 times over,
Yeah, that's what they do, man.
But yeah,
But
let's move on
as
to
far
the
as the
next game.
Lions, yeah, we both picked LA to win, and we both failed that again. We're not off to a hot start here, but
Yeah,
we're going to
it
go
was a
off to
rough
another
week for
one that we
picks.
guessed wrong, which was the Bears Lions. We did think that the Lions were going to win, but we did think that they were going to cover that 7.5 line, and they did not.
Yeah.
That game was close, man. Shout out to the Lions for having 2 late scores. They're not the same old Lions, man.
No, that game was kind of inverted from what I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be kind of tight, back and forth all the way. And then all of a sudden Lions would find their stride and roll late. It was like, nah, Chicago came out. They found their stride, dominated early, and the Lions had to claw back and then surpass them to have a comeback win. So kudos to them. I mean, they were able to outlast the Bears. They got that safety in the end zone there and everything. And it's like, divisional matchup, weird shit happens. And let's be honest, I think the Bears kind of caught them sleepwalking a little bit. They were kind of lacking. They probably didn't take Chicago seriously like a lot of people wouldn't, and
that was Hutchinson that caused that safety, right?
Correct. That dude,
yeah. That
how
punt,
bad does
did
it
you
look
see him
now?
punt that ball?
What is a great
dude,
Sally
that was
McAfee's going to be talking about that
was
one.
So awesome, man.
Dude, how foolish do the Jacksonville Jaguars look now for not taking Aiden Hutchinson? I mean,
insane.
That dude has been absolutely insane.
Yeah, man. Goff was looking like Goff. Like, okay, he's throwing these picks. It's like, okay, Goff's going to have these games, but then he got out of it. And then, I mean, that second to last score that they had, that touchdown that he threw to, what was it? That Jameson Williams. So it was the
they're a bust of a first round pick that is slowly, hopefully not becoming a bust.
He threw like an absolute dot to him, man. A beautiful throw. Yeah, the Lions are legit. They're continuing to be legit. They should have won by more. They just started off so slow with those 2 picks. But I mean, what can you do? Jahmyr Gibbs also had a great game.
Yeah, he
can't
did.
argue. I love watching that guy play football. Obviously, I have a lot invested with fantasy with this guy.
It's about time they finally started using him.
So like the part that I liked about his usage was David Montgomery was 12 for 76 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Gibbs was 8 for 36 with a touchdown on the ground. The part that I like about the Jahmyr Gibbs, he was their number 2 receiver, pretty much.
Yep.
And that's where the Lions, they got a legitimate chance with this lineup, man. Having him as a number 2 receiver, and he's an elite running back. Like, dude, they're scary, man. They got a lot of weapons.
Yes, I'm telling you, man. That's why I said when if San Francisco came to town, I think the Lions, if the San Francisco 49ers came to Detroit, man, I would be real tempted to take the Lions. If the Lions had to go out west, though, I would definitely hammer the 49ers.
I don't know about the only thing that
those teams are so evenly matched to me, dude. It's just about home field advantage. That's how good the Lions look to me.
Both of their offenses are, I would say, somewhat evenly matched because you got Purdy making some dumb mistakes. Goff's going to make dumb mistakes. The thing that gives the Giants the 49ers the edge right now, their defense is not way better, but better than the
it's
Lions
way better.
Defense.
It's way better. I see now. The only thing I would say is I'd say it's sort of a push on offense, but I do give the edge to the Lions offense right now versus that defense. I don't think that like Ben Johnson is a better play caller necessarily than Kyle Shanahan, but I do think that I believe it's Steve Wilkes is coaching the defense there for the San Francisco 49ers. And it's like, that defense can still be had, man. Like if you're a good team and you know what you're doing, know what to look for, like man, I think Detroit, even in crunch time when the Niners need to stop and they're like looking pretty good, it's like I think Detroit's good enough, dude. They'd be the ones to defy the odds and like make the final drive or
That's what
get the
they've been
play they
doing.
need. Like, dude, that's
Yeah,
like they just look
they got the dog in them.
dude, it's gonna sound crazy, man, but something about these Lions reminds me about last year's Super Bowl winning Chiefs, okay? Because they just found a way to win. Like whether it was through the air, whether it was on the ground, whether it was a comeback win, whether it
Yeah,
was a pick six late, or like something, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't necessarily consistent, but they just found different ways to win. And at the end of the day, that's all that mattered because everybody came together in that Super Bowl. And when they needed to find a way to win in
they did
total,
it.
they found a
Yeah.
way to win. And it's like, I do. It's just they're scaring me, man. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, dude, but like the Lions look damn good to me.
I
They got
guess
the team, they got the scheme, and they got the fucking they got the football voodoo, like the
I'm not gonna disagree with you on that. Like I
yeah
think that the Lions, I wouldn't even be mad if I saw them win the Super Bowl. I don't. It's hard to hate on them.
yeah. It's really
One last shout out before we end this game. Justin Fields, fantasy relevant once again, first game back. He makes a difference for that team. He makes DJ Moore relevant. Like I said in our preview of this game that we did on Friday, he's going to make DJ Moore a player again, and he did exactly that. Moore almost had what did he have? 96 yards and a touchdown. I
he
mean,
did.
so it's good to see. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the Bears quarterback? That could be a whole podcast on what are the Bears going to do at quarterback at the end of this year. But
Is it me or did Justin Fields do just enough against the right team to maybe get Chicago to think about not drafting a quarterback if they wind up with the number 1 overall pick?
I think Justin Fields is always going to do just enough because I don't think he's that awful. And I think the Bears would make a big mistake if they didn't pick a different quarterback.
I would totally agree with that. Like there's something about Justin Fields that like I've been a doubter and like seeing him come back today, even I'm like, well,
Not a complete doubter, dude. He's not. He's not
he
that
looks
bad.
a lot better than like, man, like I thought Tyson Bagent was doing an okay job. Like I might be eating my words here. Justin Fields looks markedly better, but then in the same token, it's like, dude, if you got Caleb Williams sitting there, like
Bro.
this, like Justin Fields ain't gonna win you playoff games. You know what I mean? Like I would agree with
Justin
that
Fields is going to make a career out of the NFL, either being a backup or bouncing around teams. But if the Bears have an opportunity at a number 1 pick, they'd be dumb not to take somebody.
Yeah, I mean, if the Jets are smart, they'll go get Justin Fields as a free agent in the offseason if they can and keep him as a backup.
He'd be better than what they got working, man. All right,
Dude,
that's enough
wild.
Bears talk. This is kind of disgusting for Packers fans to be talking this much about Bears and Lions.
Got to give everybody their day in the sun.
No doubt. All right, next we have Raiders at Dolphins. I took the Miami Dolphins minus 13. You did not. Yeah. Dolphins won by 7, so they should have won by more.
I told you so.
I mean,
Raiders were going to make that a game, dude, and they did.
They kind of made it a game, but at the same time, they kind of didn't make it a game because they didn't score at all in the second half. So
I don't know. It was a 1-score victory for Miami.
they scored 0
It's a
points
game
in the
to me.
second half.
What did Miami score in the second half?
7.
Okay.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying. The Raiders made it a game.
I'm not
saying that it was like this ultimate greatest game ever, but like the Raiders were competitive. They were in this. It was not going to be a blowout.
It did end in a like heave to the end zone, Jalen Ramsey interception. So I get what you're saying there. Kind of a dud of a game. The first half made it seem like it was going to be a really good game to watch. Ended up not being like what the first half was looking like. That dime though, Aiden O'Connell, shout out to you for that throw to Devontae Adams making him relevant. Oh my God. Thank God.
Yeah.
That guy deserves it.
Devontae has been saved.
Save the man.
He has been saved.
And then did you see that Tyreek Hill touchdown?
I did not see it, but I heard it from the
Holy
legendary Kevin
crap.
Harlan. But I mean,
he is so fast.
how many times can you look at a game where Tyreek Hill has 10 for a buck 46 and a touchdown and his team lost?
Dude,
That's what blew me away from watching this.
watching Tyreek Hill grab some of the like just he catches the ball. There's like three dudes around him that are in front of him, and he turns on the jets, and all of a sudden those dudes are like 5 yards behind him, and you're like, holy crap, this guy is a freak. It's just, every time it's just mesmerizing watching that guy and how
Dude,
fast he is.
the cheetah is straight up one of one, man. Just
It's
one of
so
one.
cool. So cool, man. Yeah, I don't have much beyond that game. The Dolphins need to beat a good team. So,
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
so
All
all
right.
right, we got oh, you got it. Go
no,
ahead.
you go for it.
Okay. All right, next game we got is Cowboys at Panthers, Dallas minus 10.5. We both took that line because we both know that when Dallas plays bad teams, Dallas beats up on bad teams. They lay the smack down.
Punching down on these lower tier teams.
One big note from that game is Tony Pollard had a really tough run and got a touchdown. He didn't really like play up to his draft status, but he finally hit double digits in fantasy. I think it was like 18 or something.
He finally didn't suck. Yeah.
Yeah. But against a bad team, I mean, how much weight is there? I predicted that CeeDee Lamb would have another huge game, but they didn't really need that to happen to beat up on the Panthers.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot. What did you gather from this game? Like it was kind of blah.
Yeah, I gathered that it was a game that I didn't want to watch, didn't really pay attention to, honestly. I mean,
yeah,
it was just, yeah. Tony Pollard had a good game against a team that can't stop the run. Shocker.
He didn't even have that great of a game, too. It was
an okay game. We'll leave it at that. It's like you want to talk about someone who had a good game. Like, look at Rashad White. Like, he had a pretty good game against a fucking tough defense, and they didn't even give him the ball that much. It's like I like that dude. I think he's underrated, but digress. Yeah, I think the Cowboys pretty much it was like a cat and mouse kind of game. They just played with their food and then ended up eating it, and yeah. That was about it. Carolina sucks. So
I think the Cowboys are on the same wavelength that we see the Dolphins as. Let's see what they do against a good team.
Yeah, to a degree. I think the Cowboys are better than the Dolphins. I think that the Cowboys kind of like San Francisco is kind of like their kryptonite because like physically the way that they match up like position to position on both sides of the ball,
it's tough.
That's what makes it so hard for Dallas is that like San Francisco just matches up so well with them. It's ridiculous. So
enough of this America's team.
America's team is the Michigan Wolverines, don't you know?
I thought it was oh yeah, isn't that what Dave Portnoy said? Because they won
Jim Harbaugh,
yeah, they won. They have like some crazy stat. Like
I'm sorry, John Harbaugh.
They won like 20 something straight games against Big Ten teams.
It is Jim. I get them confused, but yeah, they have been absolutely dominant. It's crazy, man. I've never seen Michigan this good in my life, and I don't even pay attention to college football like that. So,
dude, hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Hey, quote Joe Montana. So let's move on to the next game here.
Yeah, we got Titans at Jags.
Another snoozer.
Jacksonville -7. We both took it. My biggest note here was the Jaguars are going to bounce back, and they're going to. I'll just read exactly what I said. They're going to thump. They're going to get back and have a good game after getting thumped by the 49ers, and they did exactly that. The Jaguars are hungry. They beat up on the Titans. The Titans are not good, at least this year. I mean, I don't know about their quarterback. Like that guy's kind of a question mark. Obviously, being a rookie, the position that he was put in. But Trevor Lawrence kind of had a decent game because he's been pretty bad.
Yeah, the Jaguars sure gave a thumping after getting thumped. I mean, I kind of thought the same thing was going to happen too. I don't think the Jags are elite. I think the Jags are good. I don't think the Jags are elite. I think if you run that back with Buffalo, I think Buffalo makes them cry uncle.
I liked seeing Trevor Lawrence. What was he? 24 for 32, 262, 2 touchdowns. That's a good bounce back game. I mean, Will Levis actually was 13 for 17, 158, 2 touchdowns. That was junk time though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of weight to that. But yeah, I mean, the Titans aren't good. And the Jaguars, they have a good record. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Probably going to get bounced first round.
But they have the potential to not.
Yeah, they have the potential to win one game and then get bounced.
They got a team, man. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they were very competitive in the playoffs. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised
if they were very competitive. Like they made it to the AFC title game, I'd be pretty shocked.
Who do we have coming from this division though?
I don't know about that division, but I know from that conference, like I said, as much as I didn't want to admit it before, it's like at this point the conference is so wide open. I could see Kansas City making it, and they're going to meet Buffalo.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying, though. What do you have? You have.
I don't see Baltimore staying healthy enough to make it.
You have Kansas City. You have Buffalo. You have Baltimore. The Jags.
I don't know, man.
Maybe Houston.
I was gonna say hot take. I really like Houston a lot more than I like the Jags, dude. I really do. I think Houston's gonna go.
Have they played each other?
Be a wild card team with a rookie quarterback.
They did lose to Houston, 37 to 17.
Houston smoked them. Yeah.
Those 4 teams, or those maybe 5 teams, though. That could be either Houston or the Jags. I could see one of them upsetting. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, there's a lot that has to perspire for any of this to happen, but the Jags have a lineup where they can be competitive. They have Etienne, Lawrence, Ridley. Their defense isn't awful. They're not the same old Jaguars, and they're winning games. So they're winning games that they're supposed to win.
That's very true. So, I mean, let's digress and move on from that game, as it was kind of a blowout snoozer. So
let's go Cardinals, Texans, Houston -6. We both did not take that line, and which
both were correct, right?
Oh wait, no, we both said no.
21-16.
We both said no to Houston -6. Oh yeah, we were both correct there. Yeah, because they only won by
5.
Yeah. Oh. I edited that.
It's all good. Honestly, man, I thought that was a great game. I think Arizona was in it just like I thought they would be. Unfortunately, they just could not quite do enough to stop CJ Stroud, man. That's just,
which is hard to do.
Yeah, like the offense kind of did what they could, and they sort of started to figure a couple things out. But dude, ultimately, man, the defense just could not stop CJ Stroud in that offense. I mean, shout out Tank Dell, absolutely having a monster day and absolutely murdering me in fantasy football. But that's beside the point.
I had my wife pick up Tank Dell a few weeks ago because she needed somebody. I low-key trying to help her out. Like, okay, I'm not going to let you have a shitty lineup out there. I actually need him. You know who else I gave him in this game? Singletary, who I also could have used. But, man, I like the Cardinals fans should be happy. Their records is not good. But
they're a feisty team, man, and they have hope.
It's hope again.
Honestly, I don't think they're getting a new quarterback. Kyler is so good, man. Like, I think everybody forgets just how good Kyler is. Like, that is a dysfunctional franchise. That is not the greatest ownership. Like, he took that team. He took Cliff Kingsbury to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And won a game. Never forget, like, he won a playoff game. That is crazy, man. Like, Kyler is good, and there's talks about should the Cardinals move off of him? Only time you even consider that at all, even consider it, is if you have the number 1 overall pick and you have the chance to get Caleb Williams. At that point, you would have to go get multiple firsts for Kyler Murray from another team.
And then what are you giving up?
That route.
Yeah, I would like Kyler Murray as my quarterback.
Oh yeah, so would I.
One of my favorite things is some reason this like correlated in my head. I'm like, okay, the biggest thing that people beefed on him was how many video games Kyler Murray plays. And like, oh, you need more practice time. It's like, you want to know one thing I know about dudes that play video games and love playing video games? they're passionate. They don't want to fucking lose. They're heady.
Usually
And
people who play video games, dude, they have that real sharp, quick processor in their head. You know what I mean?
and they don't want to lose.
Yeah.
They're there. They're there for the fight, man. Let's go. Game on.
And he
And
seems more
Kyler Murray
dedicated than ever,
shows it.
man.
Dude, I watched like a clip of that game of him running and just blowing his body into somebody, just laying his shoulder, and I'm just like, dude.
He's a stud. And I see, I believed in Kyler Murray coming out of college, even though he's a runner and everything. I believed in him way more than I ever believed in Lamar Jackson, simply for the fact that the dude's thick with 2 C's, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he is built like a little brick shit house, and it's like Lamar is skinny and dynamic. Dude, Kyler is built like a running back. Lamar's built like a receiver, and that's the crazy part. You know what I mean? Like he can.
Kyler's
like,
got
that's
a
why
lot.
Jalen Hurts can hold up, in my opinion.
Kyler has a lot to do to make it to Lamar's level. I mean, as far as like
What?
MVP, well, I mean, Lamar was an MVP.
Yeah, sure.
Having a dominant season like Lamar had.
Correct. Lamar was able to string together one dominant season, and ever since then it's been nothing but injuries. And like I will say, Lamar's developed as a passer and everything, but like, dude, as a passer, I would take Kyler 12 out of 10 times over Lamar. As a runner, I'd say they're a push. The only thing is, Lamar landed on a better team, better ownership, better talent around him. You put Kyler Murray on the Ravens, I guarantee you he's got an MVP also.
Maybe a Super Bowl.
Maybe a freaking Super Bowl. You ain't lying. You took the words out of my mouth.
I'd have to compare or look up Kyler versus. I didn't even know they were the same draft class, to be fair.
Kyler and Lamar?
Yeah.
I don't know if they were or not.
Oh, I thought you were. Sorry, I thought
I was just because they're they're two like the two most explosive running quarterbacks in the league, man. Like Josh Allen's dynamic. Don't get me wrong. He's not as explosive as Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson. Same thing with Jalen Hurts and Mahomes. Like even Herbert. Like dude, nobody's explosive as those dudes. Those dudes.
Okay, they're 1 year
like
apart.
They're like the Tyreek Hills of quarterbacks, man. They could take it the distance.
So Murray was drafted in 2019. He was also drafted by the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, Lamar
shout out to the Oakland Athletics 18, who just approved the Oakland Athletics to move to LA. So there's a baseball team now.
I thought they were going to Vegas.
Or Vegas, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Las Vegas. I don't know. I messed that up. But yeah, good. Vegas has like everything now. Lamar was in 2018, so 1 year apart.
Yeah. I know Lamar was like the last pick in the first round.
Lamar was the Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen draft class.
Hey, look at that. All Baker, Lamar, and Josh Allen, all three still starting in this league.
Yes, sir. All right, what do we got next?
Quarterback draft class. Solid.
Yeah, I think we can move on from these two teams that we both
We're starting to meander off down into the rabbit holes here. Yeah, let the side conversations take us.
I think out of these two teams, Texans have a chance to make a difference in the playoffs. Cardinals aren't going to make the playoffs this year, but both of these teams both of these teams are on the up and up, which is awesome. You want to see these franchises like this, small teams like this, trend up. Is good for football because it expands everything.
I think if you watch if we watch out for where the Cardinals fall in the draft here, okay, if they get the second overall pick, watch out for the Cardinals next year, dude.
No doubt.
If you give Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., oh my, that dude, this is
him in Hollywood.
Dude. Hollywood is a great WR2. He is not.
He's way better since he has come to the Cardinals than he was.
Well, him and Kyler had the college connection, but I'm saying, like, dude, they are building a great culture. This is a really good building year for Arizona, man. Like, I think Jonathan Gannon kind of has something going on over there, and I'm very interested to see what they look like next year. I'm just going to say that, especially if they land number 2, because if they can get in between the Bears, at 1 and 3 there and get number 2 and get Marvin Harrison, that's going to be crazy.
All right, next we got Buccaneers at 49ers, San Francisco -12. We both said no. We do not think.
Yeah.
And we were both right.
This was actually a really good game up until like later in the fourth. I mean, Baker had the Buccaneers rolling. They were looking like, hey, they might get frisky here at the end and pull something out late. And then Buccaneers just shot themselves in the foot. I mean,
Should have took
Tampa
that
looks
line.
good, man. I like Tampa to kind of
Dude, you're in
sneakily
the
go win that division. I
you're in
really
like
do.
you're in the fake. We're both Baker Mayfield guys. We both I feel the same way you do, but man, do they just
The Saints are way too inconsistent. At least I know what I'm getting from the Buccaneers week to week, dude. You're getting good, extremely solid, good defensive play to possibly even great defensive play, and you're going to get a well balanced offense that they can kind of go through anything. It all depends on how long it takes them to figure out what their opposition is doing on defense. It seems like
yeah?
because there
So
was a time where they were running the ball and moving the ball well on San Francisco.
one of the biggest things from this game is shout out Brock Purdy. 21 for 25, 333 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yep,
That's phenomenal.
Brock Purdy went off. Brandon
Yeah.
Ayuk went off.
Dude, Purdy's legit. I mean, the 49ers, they're going to be right there in the championship game, fighting to go to the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers, I don't think that they're going to be in any race, but I hope
I think they're going to sneak
to
into the playoffs though, just because they're going to win their division.
maybe if the Saints fall a little bit, which that's the only way they're making the playoffs is if they win their division.
I haven't seen the Saints schedule, but the Saints are just so inconsistent. I don't trust Dennis Allen.
So are the Bucks, though.
I don't think the Bucks are all that inconsistent, man.
They're 4-6.
Yeah, but like I think you kind of know what they are. They're limited, but they're not like they have a really hard time. Well, if you can get up on Tampa Bay, it's pretty hard for them to come back on you, and that's kind of how all their losses have been, with the exception of the shootout against Houston. But it's like, for the most part, dude, you better watch out with Tampa. If Tampa gets up on you by even a score and they can run the ball with that big offensive line they got, it's not a team I'd want to play.
Yeah, Tampa actually has a phenomenally nice schedule. They play the Colts,
I've seen their
Panthers,
schedule.
Falcons, Packers, Jaguars, Saints, and Panthers. I guess I don't hate that. It's almost, you almost feel like it's in their hands. I mean, obviously it's in their hands, but like even more so with that schedule, man.
Yep, that's exactly why I'm saying that right
because,
now. The schedule that they got. Who did the Saints got for a schedule? Let's hear that.
So the Saints have the Falcons, Lions,
Tough
Panthers, game. Giants, Rams.
The Giants are a tougher game than you think they are.
Rams are going to be tough too. You got, Matthew
Rams
Stafford.
are a tough game too, yeah. But the defense.
And then they have the Bucks and then the Falcons again, which the Falcons have always been. They play tough the Falcons twice, which are hard outs. Yeah, you got to give that edge a little bit.
That's
to the Bucks.
I'd take Baker over Derek Carr right now easily.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But all right, next game.
Yeah, next game.
Next game we have Jets. Oh, I guess one more shout out. Thank you, Christian McCaffrey, for going back to your regular touchdown production. Appreciate that. Jets, Bills. You thought that the Jets stink.
They just seem to be Josh Allen's kryptonite, and I thought that, I'm like, well, they just fired their OC there in Buffalo, and they seem to be kind of panicking. I'm like, what's really going to change? And I didn't really see a big change on offense other than they tried to be more dedicated and stick with the run more. You know what I mean? They tried to be more consistent with that, and that appears to have paid dividends for them. But for the most part, it's like I didn't see a whole lot of difference with the Bills. They were able to start the game with a fumbled kick return and immediately get a field goal, get the ball back after the next possession for the Jets, immediately get another field goal. And then once they got the ball back again, go get another field goal. So they immediately went up essentially 2 possessions by the second quarter and were able to just run the ball and send the pass rushers, with their ears pinned back. So
yeah, that's only 9 points out of the 32 that they got though.
Yeah, I mean, once you get up by 2 possessions and you're running roughshod on people, what can you do?
There's a lot you can do when you're only up by 9 points.
Doesn't matter.
Except the Jets have no offense to do anything.
Exactly.
So for the Jets case, yeah, they were SOL.
Like they already have no offense, and then you're gonna look at Buffalo's defense and be like, all right, now just rush. You don't got to worry about anything because they're gonna be throwing the ball. Like it's kind of like screwed from the start.
The biggest question I'd have for you is why would you bet a team if you know they're down 9-0 and you give them no chance? Why are you picking them to win?
I didn't think they'd start the game down 9-0.
Yeah, but you knew at probably
Normally their
some
defense
point.
and special teams is extremely sharp, and the offense is usually kind of like, well, are they going to win it or lose it for us? And that's kind of what I thought it was going to come down to. I thought the Jets had so much on the line with this game. If they beat Buffalo, like, hey, man, Aaron Rodgers might have a reason to come back. But after that, I don't think it's happening anymore. I think he comes back next year.
I like the faith that you have in them, but I had a
Oh,
good
it's
feeling
gone now, completely gone.
yeah,
I
I
can't
would have
believe they didn't
never
show
picked
up at
that.
all in a must have a game like that.
Wilson doesn't. He's not a good football player,
No,
but
you're right,
offense.
but you saw how much worse it was with Tim Boyle, and that's the scary part.
That's
I bet
trust
you
me.
they learn. I'm pretty confident they're going to learn their lesson, and next year they're going to invest in a nice backup quarterback.
Yeah,
I think they're going to move off Zach.
I know what bad offenses look like. Trust me, I know.
Zach Wilson and Kenny Pickett look about the same right now.
I mean, I would give.
What would Kenny be able to do with that shit offensive line and only one receiver?
No, I was just saying I may take Zach Wilson over Kenny Pickett.
Oh,
but I think
put it in the burn book.
Kenny Pickett
is
maybe.
a fugly slut. He is not to be trusted. Oh my God, straight out of Mean Girls.
Well, he
right
is
there.
to be trusted because he doesn't. The only reason I may take Kenny Pickett over Wilson is because Pickett doesn't throw picks. Wilson does throw picks.
I guess I look at it as Wilson's willing to take a chance. Kenny isn't.
Yeah, but if you look at both their records, would you want wins or do you want ugly games? You want wins, don't you?
I'm not going to debate Kenny Pickett and Zach Wilson's stats with you, considering Zach Wilson's been in the league for 2 whole years, and he has pretty much had nothing to work with up until like last year. And he finally.
Neither have the Steelers. They had the worst offensive coordinator in the NFL's
history. You guys have had talent galore. I don't want to hear it. The O-line
Who's the receiver that
solid. They have Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Najee Harris. Like, dude,
Najee Harris is not anything to.
He's a first-round pick. His rookie year was
Brees Hall.
Solid. But I just look at it like, dude,
both these teams stink at offense.
Kenny Pickett's had better stuff to work with there in Pittsburgh his entire career compared to Jack Wilson's had with the Jets. That's all I'm going to say.
Both the teams are kind of similar to me. Really bad offenses, really good defenses. The defenses are on the field way too much where it gets to the point in the season where the defenses don't even look like they're really good defenses anymore because they're playing probably 2 to 3 games more worth of plays than the offense is.
About the biggest thing Kenny's got going for him is he's got, Pittsburgh's not a dysfunctional franchise and just
that is very true.
Like that's huge
but also that's one thing that Pittsburgh has going against them. They're not willing to make changes that need to be made. They just want to stick and stick and stick. And the Steelers are the same way as the Packers.
Yep.
We got lucky with franchise quarterbacks that led us to so many years of greatness. And now we're at a point where it's like, all right, we're just in the mindset of this person's going to work out. We're going to stick with them.
Arrogance has brought us rigidness or rigidity rather.
Yeah, it's going to Okay, I'm done talking about this game. I really want Aaron Rodgers to come back and play football so I get one more year of watching him. All right, next we have Seahawks at Rams, and this was the second game that I got correct. That helped me bounce back from the 2 games you got correct earlier.
This game sucked. It was so boring.
Actually, I think we skipped the Giants Commanders.
Oh, that game sucked too. Giants won. Woohoo! Good for them.
You got that line right though. Yeah.
Not proud of it. I said the Commanders would win, but the Giants would cover. No, Giants just straight won.
Saquon balled out.
Saquon did ball out surprisingly. That dime from DeVito to the corner of the end zone was nice. But
shout out to DeVito for looking better than Kenny Pickett and Zach Wilson.
Brian Daboll, dude, I'm telling you, man, biggest mistake the Bills ever made. If the Bills are smart, they'll contact Brian Daboll and try to get his ass back from the Giants.
So we got coach Seattle -1. You took that line. I did not. I don't trust anything about the Seahawks. And man, was I praying that field goal got missed. Because the Seahawks are fake. They're a fake good team. Can't stand them.
They are.
The Geno was injured and he left the game and then he came back for that final drive.
That was huge, dude. That was huge.
He threw some nice balls. Maybe he should just be a backup quarterback because when he comes in after that, he usually balls out.
I don't know. I think Gino's serviceable. Like he's like a decent enough starter, but I don't think he's ever going to take them anywhere they want to go. I don't think he's going to win more than maybe one playoff game ever. Like I would 10 out of 10 take Dak Prescott over Geno Smith, you know?
Well, I mean, if you look at stats, Dak Prescott's one of the best
Well,
quarterbacks, I think.
just I'm talking about they're kind. I think their skill set is viewed in a similar sense.
I guess one of the biggest thing out of this game is Cooper Cup hurting his
Oh,
ankle.
rip. Yeah, that's a
I'm
rip.
not I don't want to see that happen, but for fantasy playoffs, I do have Puka Nakua in 2 different leagues.
Puka Nakua Matata. It means no worries for the
Dude,
rest of Cooper Cup's days.
Cooper Cup, man. I thought it was a hamstring or something injury,
I
and
thought it was a knee.
I was like, oh man, like he re-injured his hammy. This dude's done for the year. He was on IR,
Yeah,
done. And then it said it was an ankle. I was like, okay, like maybe he just because he did walk out, but I mean, a sprained ankle can be brutal. Obviously, a high ankle sprain is
yeah,
devastating.
devastating.
I mean, I guess what do the Rams have to play for? Do they
Yeah,
continue? They got the Rams are just going to kind of be here to limp along for the remainder of their days. They
yeah.
sacrificed everything to win a Super Bowl, and they got that Super Bowl.
I agree.
They're
That
going to be
credit, they
competitive.
swiped that credit card, bro. Now the bill is coming in the mail. It's here.
They're going to be competitive from time to time because Matthew Stafford is a dog. He
Oh,
competes.
absolute dog.
He competes, and I mean, even Cooper Cup, he competes. They're gonna dice people up, but they're not. They're not doing. They're just gonna be a mid team. They're a mid team.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, Puka's emergence. That's awesome for them. Having even with 2 great receivers, they're still a mid team. Like they just don't. They can't. It's just like they're. I don't want to say it's like Stafford's on the Lions again, but if I mean, it almost feels like he's on the
He's
Lions
not on
again.
the Lions again. And like, dude, that's so unfair to say that. The
What with
Rams are
Calvin
gonna look a
Johnson
lot
Lions?
different next year, I can guarantee you. I think they finally have a first round pick
They do
next
have a
year.
running back though.
Kyron
Yeah,
Williams looks pretty solid. They got Puka. I think Cooper Cup will be back next year. 30 is the new 27, 28. Like wide receivers got a couple more years after 30 these days. I think
yeah.
they're gonna be fine next year.
What do they do at their defense though, man? Like
Draft. They're gonna
they
have to get
they
younger.
need they need to draft.
They hit a couple of nice pieces in their draft this year for defense.
I mean, Aaron Donald's got to be done here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised they didn't try to trade him this year, get max value out of him because he'll still be
They
good
could
for
use
like
those
another year or
picks.
two. But yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But I think it's also kind of a respect thing. Like Aaron Donald was drafted to the Rams and
he gets to do what
developed
he
by the
wants.
Rams, and yeah, he's
Yeah,
one of the elite players in the league.
should have come to Pittsburgh this year. We could have wasted him away with our terrible offense.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about JJ Watt. What was that like last year? No, like 2 years ago in like 2021. I was like, yeah, we should sign JJ Watt just for us to lose in the the NFC Championship game again.
Jordan Addison caught a ball.
Or I think it was divisional round. He's caught a couple. He's caught a couple now.
Yeah, I think that was his second. All right.
Moving on.
So yeah, moving on. Right now we're both kind of watching this Vikings Broncos game. I'm at a replay right now, so I can't see the score. 10-9.
10-9. It's in the third quarter here. 10 minutes and change ticking down. Minnesota has the ball in the Broncos territory at the 28-yard line.
Last game we have to talk about, which is going to be should be a good game. Eagles at Chiefs. Let me
for this game.
Let me confirm this line. Yep, it's still KC minus 2.5. We both are not taking that line.
I like Philly here a lot.
This should be the best game of the week, hopefully.
Hands down.
This could be a Super Bowl matchup again.
Could be. Very well could be. I mean, hey, I think Philly's going. I think Philly's the best team in the NFC.
Hurts is not going to lose this game after the mistakes that he made in that Super Bowl. That's all I got to say.
That fumble keeps that man up at night.
Right
I
here.
guarantee you. Yes.
Yeah. Him and AJ Brown. AJ Brown's going to score over 28 fantasy points to get my boy Justin a dub.
We're hoping for a huge AJ Brown game. I'm talking like last year when he did it to your Pittsburgh Steelers when he went for like a $130 and 3 tubs, man. I need something like that to get me by.
Don't remember that.
I'm glad that you have amnesia for that game because hopefully my competition in fantasy gets amnesia after this week when I have AJ Brown outscore his
uh,
score for me to win.
yeah, dude, I'm amped for this game too. It's always awesome to watch Patrick Mahomes play football, and now Jalen Hurts to play football.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
really enjoy watching
I,
Jalen
I
Hurts. He's become one of my more favorite quarterbacks in the league. I'll say that.
I can't believe that Kansas City is actually favored by 2.5 in this game. I think that
Yeah,
the Eagles have some depth, man. The Eagles have some dog in them, and the Chiefs are lacking some weapons.
everybody wants to say that Eagles secondary can be had. Who's gonna have it? They
But
got
at
dudes
this,
to cover Travis Kelsey. Who's gonna have it other than that? Like
Travis Kelsey, even when they got dudes to cover him, though, he still has it. He has at least 15, right? 15 points.
probably something like that. Yeah,
I need at least 6, maybe 15.1.
yeah, probably
I'll be
something like
good.
that.
But yeah, we both need big games out of two people in this. But I think the Eagles dominate, man. I don't know. But it's at the same time, you can't count out Mahomes, man. Like he's gonna make this game interesting. But I think what you
It's
were,
Mahomes magic for a reason, man. I agree. I think it's gonna be a really interesting game, but I like the Eagles to win this. I hope it
what,
turns into a shootout. Like I said, AJ Brown scoring for like 3 touchdowns. That'd be great, but
I could see like both these defenses just really showing up too, and like making this kind of like a.
don't say that.
I don't
That's the
want.
part I don't want to hear, Mike, because I had the thought too.
Yeah,
Unreal.
yeah. Well, I do know one thing to end this. At the end of the week, my stinking Steelers stink, but they're still in a playoff spot.
For
They
now.
play. Yeah, they're probably going to end up at the bottom of the AFC North. But hey, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy the ride. I mean, as far as the
I hope
Packers go, sure, the win today was cool, but I want a top 5 draft pick. Come on, keep losing games.
that ain't happening for you.
Yeah, no, Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur need to win to save their jobs. So
I think that the Steelers have a better shot at a top 5 pick than you. I think the
maybe
Steelers are just going to lose because they're bad. I think that the Packers.
we have a decent schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the Steelers do have a decent schedule as well, playing a whole bunch of backup quarterbacks.
So, I mean, I know it's been a while since we talked about it. It's been we haven't done it in our last couple Wednesday segments, but we should kind of bring back the in our football feels before we close this out.
Oh, I got one.
You got one? Let her rip.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Don't mind me itching my nose. I have a dog hair
Seeing,
that got stuck in here earlier, and it's been kind of irritating me.
I saw this guy that I follow on Twitter, chilling with Deke.
Chilling with Deke. Okay.
Yeah, he has a couple channels. He's a Pittsburgh guy. Posted a picture of Ben Roethlisberger. I want to feel a 300-yard game out of a quarterback so fucking bad. You got that today. I just want to feel that.
I can hear and feel the pain in your voice right now, Mike.
Dude, it hurts so bad to watch this team play football. It's every week the same thing. I just want Ben. I think Ben could come off his couch and produce better than what this offense is doing. You want to know why that? Would happen? Because Big Ben would say, "Yeah, sorry, the headset's breaking up. I can't hear your shitty play calls, Matt Canada. I'm gonna take over the game." I hate it, dude.
Do you want some consolement, some honest to God consolement?
I just
It could be
I
worse,
miss.
dude. You could be watching New England Patriots football like some people in the world.
They had so many Super Bowls, though. Fuck them. I don't care. I just want to see Big Ben and Antonio Brown pre-concussions and really appreciate it as an adult. And I'm never going to have that opportunity again. And that hurts.
Nope.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers
to Garrett
and big.
Wilson. Oh, that's
No,
gonna be
Aaron
that's gonna be
Rodgers
an
to
NFL wet
Devontae
dream next
Adams
season.
dominating and Big Ben to Antonio. Those parts of my life are done. And that's why I'm in the feels. Because I'm never going to see that again. And I have to watch other teams enjoy that. And it hurts.
We are in the same club there. My candidate for in my football feels is Not the
Josh
feeling
Dobbs,
of
another rushing touchdown. Dude's a
yes.
dog.
I was gonna let you say that since I'm ahead of you. My football feels is not the feeling of somberness or sadness. More visceral than that. More hatred, more violence. Bring back wide receiver and DB beefs. I mean, like, does anybody remember the days when Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan ripped each other's helmets off and straight duked it out on the field? I mean, the closest thing we got nowadays is you got Jamar Chase giving the double birds to Minka Fitzpatrick, and that's a great photo and all, great picture. But
Dude, remember?
let's get some real wide receiver DB beefs again, like Michael Crabtree, Richard Sherman, dude. Like
Whew,
it's not all that long ago that we had them still. Like
Hines
let's
Ward
let
against every single DB, just try to body him.
Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree snatching the chain. Like, dude, come
Actually, we
on.
got a recent one. Juju
Pac-Man Jones
Smith-Schuster.
and anybody he squared up with, dude. The old
Juju Smith-Schuster bodying
CJGJ.
Vontez Perfect.
Yeah, that was good, but that's not like a wide. That's not like a consistent wide receiver, defensive back beef, or just player beef. You know,
It was beef though.
it was beef for like a game. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I just make
Physical play. You
yeah,
mean?
like dude, Jalen Ramsey and Devontae Adams when Devontae was a Packer when they met in the playoffs, like that kind of had the feels like that could have been the start of something there if they had like gone
Yeah.
back the next year and met each other again in the playoffs and stuff like you know what I mean, like. But no, the Rams got rid of Ramsey. The Packers got rid of Devontae. Like that was pretty close because like you had the whole pregame, they were up in each other's grill, like, don't run from me. Don't run from me. He's like, I'm right here. I'm right here. You know, like, dude, ooh, it still gets me fired up watching that. But even just talking about it. But I digress. It's like we don't have any good wide receiver DB beefs anymore. That's what's
You
got me in my
can't.
football feels. And there needs to be. I don't care. Football's an aggressive sport. There
Dude,
needs to be beefs. That's what makes the sport so good.
that oh, I also had another football feels today talking while we were butchering this deer. I was like, you guys are obviously Steelers again. Do you guys remember the days when Ryan Clark, Troy Polamalu, and James Harrison were on the same field? Headhunters. That was the football when you could have those beefs, when you could body someone and the refs wouldn't call flags. Some of the head hits were definitely dangerous,
Yeah.
but like you could have beefs then because the refs would understand. Let these dudes fight it out. This is football. Nowadays, you can't have that, man, with all the flags and all the BS.
All the flopping nowadays too.
Dude,
Like
it's
for
so
real. The NBA
annoying.
flopping has made its way into the NFL. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. Like that's one rule I like about college football is that you can have your hands on the guys and you can have a hand battle up until the ball's thrown. Versus the NFL, if you're up in their hands, they'll call you holding and all that bullshit.
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I really kind of
yeah.
like that the more
That's
I think
why
about it. Once the
that's why
ball's thrown, then you got to keep your hands to yourself.
that's
But up
that's
until
why a lot
then,
of
that's pretty fair, man. I like that.
that's why a lot of cornerbacks struggle when they initially get into the NFL because college rules allow you to be a lot more handsy up until the ball's thrown.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But
All right, close this out, bro.
I was gonna say, yeah. With that being said, let's get into our breakdown for the next show. We're gonna be talking about our Monday Night Football reaction. That'll be coming out on Wednesday. So
Yeah, we should be good
keep
for
an eye
Wednesday.
out for
Yeah.
that. If you have been a supporter of the podcast so far, we appreciate it. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. Go ahead, please give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and please turn on those notifications. You do not want to miss an episode.
And hey, we'll be together on Friday.
Yeah,
We're gonna record an
special
episode
teaser.
Friday.
Special teaser. We will be live in the same studio for our show on Friday next week. So we got Black Friday football next week, and that's going to be coming to you live from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Can't
So
wait,
that being
dude.
said, hope everybody has a great week this week. It's Thanksgiving week. Plenty to be thankful for and grateful for. Everybody remember that. You know, so much focusing on what you don't have in this world. Try to remember what you do have in this world. So with that being
Yes,
said,
sir.
take care, everybody. We'll see everyone on the next episode.